Google's Pixel Watch models are elegant, minimalist watches with extensive support for the Fitbit health and wellness ecosystem. But the first two generations were too small for me to wear daily. They lacked some key functions, and I couldn't bring myself to stick with Pixel phones, primarily due to connection issues and hardware that was less compelling to me than what Samsung and OnePlus offered. I used the Pixel Watch 1 and then the 2 for a month or so to test them out and review them, but then I moved on to other wearables. It's now been nearly a month since I've been using Google's latest watch, and is actually a big factor as I consider switching to a Pixel 9 Pro phone as my daily driver away from an Apple iPhone 15 Pro Max. Hello everybody, this is Matthew Miller, otherwise known as Palm Solo, and thanks for visiting the Mobile with Matt YouTube channel. Please consider subscribing and leaving comments as I try to respond to all of them, and I love interacting with you viewers. I attended the Made by Google hardware event on 13 August, and I had a chance to spend some time with the standard 41mm model and the larger 45mm model of the new Google Pixel Watch 3. I spent time with various bands, and I actually had an opportunity to speak with several Google representatives about the different functions and features that are new to the Pixel Watch 3. The larger size 45mm Pixel Watch 3 arrived for testing a few days after the event, and there are several reasons that I prefer using it over the Apple Watch Ultra 2 as my primary smartwatch. And I'll talk about those in this review. Google is very focused on runners with the Pixel Watch 3, and we'll dive into that experience in a bit as well. As good as the experience is, I think I'm still going to run with the Garmin Enduro 3 on one wrist and the Pixel Watch 3 on another, but I'll talk about that, and maybe at the end I might decide to stick with the Pixel Watch 3 for most of my running events. Let's start off talking about the hardware of the Pixel Watch 3. The first two Pixel Watch models were only available in one size, 41mm. And that really is just too dainty for my larger wrist. So it looked out of place, and it wasn't a watch that I really enjoyed wearing. It's just too small. I even have a thing now where I can hardly wear a Garmin or other watch that doesn't use those 26mm bands. If I drop down to a watch that uses a 20mm band and sometimes even 22mm, it just doesn't appeal to me in my larger wrist. So I was thrilled to see Google offer a 45mm option. As you can kind of see there, and you'll see in some other video and pictures, it fits me perfectly, while also still maintaining that elegant, minimalist design that Google is known for. At the Made by Google event, I saw a Google representative dripping water into a circular dish, and the meniscus that formed on top kind of models the Pixel Watch design. It's very elegant, minimalist. It reminds me of a smooth skipping stone, and if it didn't have bands connected to it, I might just want to skip it across the water. While the design is elegant, it also leaves that display fully unprotected and susceptible to scratches or breakage. I actually have scratched the display on the Pixel Watch 2 as I got too close to a wall, and that display ran right against it and left a couple of permanent scratches on there. So it's clear that the Pixel Watch 3 is not built for rugged outdoor adventures. And if that's the kind of exercise and event that you get involved in, this probably isn't the watch for you. When I was on ZDNet a couple years ago, I took the Apple Watch Ultra, the original one, out for a Tough Mudder competition, which is something like 15K over 20 obstacles. And that watch withheld very well over all those obstacles, including a lot of rocks and everything else. I would not take the Pixel Watch 3 on an outdoor adventure event kind of like that, but that's not what the focus of this watch is, and we'll talk about that here. So this display on the larger 45mm Pixel Watch 3 is 40% larger than the smaller Pixel Watch 3 and previous Pixel Watch devices. It also supports up to 2000 nits of brightness in that Google Actua AMOLED display. So continuing with this minimalist design, not just the front, but there's a single button on the top right and a rotating crown that also presses in. You can easily flip that around in the software to have that button and the crown on the left side if you like. For my references, I have the watch on my left wrist and the buttons on the right side. Unlike the Galaxy Watch Ultra, Amazfit watches, and many other watch models, the actions that are assigned to those buttons and that digital crown cannot be customized at all. They are set by Google and cannot be altered. However, they are pretty useful buttons, and let's talk about them. So the top right button, a single press of that will open up recent apps. If we go down to that digital crown, it is a rotating crown, and it's very nice for scrolling through lists and things like that. If you single press that digital crown, it will open up the app launcher. And if you double press, Google Wallet. If you press and hold for 3 to 5 seconds on the digital crown, it will open up a menu that offers you to do power off, emergency SOS, and other things. Unlike the Apple Watch Ultra and now the Samsung Galaxy Watch Ultra, there is no loud siren that can be sounded on the Pixel Watch 3. As again, I said, it's really not built for outdoor adventures. It's more a running watch and other things that are in the Fitbit Coach ecosystem, which include many other activities, yoga, stretching, and things like that. So this watch is really not an outdoor adventure watch, which is where you would need something like a siren. You're not going to necessarily need that if you're out going, participating in running. So the custom Pixel Watch band system is still in place, where you push the button and you rotate it over a little bit to release those bands. But the bands for this larger 45mm model are wider. So while the bands on the Pixel Watch 3 41mm will also work on the previous 2 generations of Pixel Watch, the Pixel Watch 3 45mm requires new bands. And I personally really like that because as I mentioned earlier, I like a wider band. I'm very happy with that. I'm only tested one band so far, which was the one default band that it came with, and I'll look at more bands because I do like a fabric stretchy band as well. But this band that I am using right now actually has worked out pretty well. The wrist-based sensors on the back of the watch are the same as the Pixel Watch 2, and it's been proven over many tests that heart rate sensor is actually very accurate. It does skin temperature and EDA and many other sensors and data that comes out of that. So that's good to see that continue. The watch also has a built-in microphone and speaker, which is useful for Google Assistant, Google Home, and many other functions. So moving on from that simple and elegant minimalist hardware, let's talk a little bit about the software. The Pixel Watch 3 runs the latest and greatest Wear OS version 5.0, and it is a fantastic experience, right? Everything you would expect in a Wear OS watch is there, including the Play Store and all of the default apps. Another benefit of having that larger watch model is that larger display provides for more watch face complications, more information on the tiles, such as more days of weather, and more text in notifications. Also, with my aging 55-year-old eyes, I can increase the font size on the watch and see text easier on that larger display. The Google ecosystem is improved in the Pixel Watch 3 through things like live video feeds of your Nest cameras and two-way talk support. My whole house is outfitted with Nest cameras, and now I used to get screenshots of those cameras, which was fairly useful because it would let me know if somebody was in the area. But now I can actually launch that Google Home app and turn on the microphone and interact with people. Say there's a mail carrier dropping off something at my house. I can interact with them through the watch itself without pulling the phone out of my pocket. And that is a great support that I've wanted to see since the first Google Pixel Watch, and it is wonderful to see Google continue to roll out more Google native features. Also, you have full control, or nearly full control. I don't think the Add Me function and some of those other functions are in the watch, but nearly full control of your Google Pixel camera is provided from the watch, including astrophotography, which is really great because with astrophotography, you should set up a tripod with your phone or some way brace your phone and leave it alone, and then not have to touch your phone to capture the best astrophotography. So to be able to control that with your watch is a great option. Call screening is also supported right from the watch. So if you get a call coming in and your phone's not with you, you can do that call screening functions right there on the watch. Also, offline Google Maps and many more things in the Google ecosystem are now supported on the Pixel Watch 3. One of my favorite features of the Pixel Watch 3 is the amazing support for the voice recorder. Now, when I like to go running, I usually run for half an hour or an hour, and it's my creative time. I'm either listening to music or I'm just running and thinking of things, and I have lots of ideas that happen when I run. In the past, I've used voice recording and voice memos on many other watches, but this one has an updated voice recorder right on the Pixel Watch. While recording voice memos and notes on a watch isn't that unique, The fact that your notes are then synced over to your Pixel Watch is unique. You can record that voice note. It'll appear in the Recorder app on your Pixel smartphone, where you can then take things even further. Voice recordings that are recorded either on your phone or on the Pixel Watch can be transcribed. Those transcripts can be copied over to Google Docs, and video clips of the voice recordings can be made. You can also have those voice recordings backed up and then accessed at recorder.google.com if you're out on the web somewhere and you want to sign in and access those voice recorders. So my great creative thoughts that I have while running will never be lost again, thanks to Google's new voice recorder. The Pixel Watch 3, like other Pixel Watches, supports many different sports and activities, exercises, stretching, all those kinds of things, but there really is an emphasis this year on running. So let's talk a little bit more about the running aspect. So while I was in Mountain View, I spoke to a few of those Google folks because running is something that I like to do. I love it. I've been doing it for 40 plus years, and I wanted to know, how could the Pixel Watch optimize the running experience? Much of this optimization revolves around the watch measuring and then analyzing the time that you are not running in order to provide you with personalized recommendations to help you have the best running experience while minimizing injuries. So it's looking at a holistic approach of your entire life. So once the watch arrives, it takes 14 days and nights of wearing the Pixel Watch 3 for Google to determine your cardio load goal. And then it uses your sleep and your readiness data to guide you through recommended runs on the Coach tab in the Fitbit app. This approach is welcomed by the majority of casual runners who are not training for serious competition and just want to maintain a certain level of fitness or train for specific recreational events, a 5K, a 10K, a half marathon. So the Pixel Watch 3 incorporates readiness to measure your recovery and help you understand your body's response to load. And then cardio load is measured using Training Impulse, which is a validated measure of the amount of work that your heart has during the activity. You receive more cardio load for longer and more strenuous activity based on your heart rate. And then the target load is created just for you. Your target load is different than my target load. It is based on your readiness score and your cardio load. And it does a great job while you're on a run as well. The Pixel Watch 3 will speak out voice commands and provide clear graphics on the watch face to guide you through the different intervals in your workout. Use the Fitbit Coach tab in the Fitbit app to be able to see what your runs are. You can plan custom workouts, change those workouts, whatever you want to do, and then get out there and get on that run. And the Pixel Watch 3 actually does a great job. It uses voice commands and clear graphics on the watch face that guide you through the different intervals on your run. And if you have headphones connected, you could even have them spoken through the headphones, which is a little bit better than having the microphone on the watch itself. The workout display is limited to 2 displays, one that can show 4 metrics and the other for the heart rate zone. And this is fine, honestly, for most runners, but those who like to track tons of different metrics, race against a pace or a previous run, or see more than 4 metrics might find that experience a bit too limiting, and for a while I thought that was too limiting. When you're done with your run, make sure to go and check out the new dashboard in the Fitbit app. It has an amazing amount of data and tables and charts, as well as insights and advice on how to improve. The metrics in the running performance screen show basics like heart rate, pace, distance, elevation, everything you'd expect, including in text and in charts. There are also advanced metrics like ground contact time, vertical oscillation, cadence, and stride length. But the power of Fitbit and Google comes in the form of not just providing that data for your running form, but helping you understand, what do those metrics mean? What should you focus on to optimize your performance? And what can I do to change those metrics or improve on them? All with the goal of helping you optimize your fitness while reducing the likelihood of injuries. Google's Pixel Watch models have proven to be one of the most accurate wrist-based heart rate sensors available on a smartwatch. And that continues with the Pixel Watch 3. For more accuracy is found in chest or armband sensors, and there are plenty of other sensors for biking that people like to use and connect to their sports watch. Unfortunately, just like the Samsung Galaxy Watch Ultra, there is no support for connecting to external Bluetooth or ANT Plus sensors on the Pixel Watch 3, so all of your sensors are on the watch itself, and that's what you're going to have to live with. Just like the Pixel Watch 2, Google also provides a host of services for safety, including emergency sharing, safety check, and the safety signal. If you buy a LTE Pixel Watch 3, Google provides these safety features for free, even if you do not add cellular service to the watch itself. The cellular service is provided, I think, through Google Fi, and Google will provide that for free if you need it. The battery life of the Pixel Watch 3 has been able to provide 2 days of health and wellness tracking with 1 night of sleep tracking for me, You may get 2 nights of sleep tracking if you don't use the watch for running that day or too many other functions and notifications and things. You might get 2 nights out of it, but it's pretty much a 24-hour or 36-hour watch, depending, which is fairly typical for a smartwatch these days. One great thing about the watch is that it charges up much faster than it did before. I've had times when the watch showed about 30% battery life and I wanted to go for a run, but I wasn't quite sure if that 30% was going to last for my whole run. So I'd put it on the charger, go get ready for my run, put on my socks and shoes, stretch out a little bit, and then the watch was ready for me to go. Google does state that you can get up to 50% of a charge from zero in about 28 minutes. In about a month of me using this watch, I saw about 6 to 7 hours of battery life for GPS tracking, which is long enough for most people to finish a marathon. And honestly, for a watch that's focused on running, that's pretty adequate. Remember too, this watch does a lot more than just tracking running, and all those smartwatch functionality, that's a pretty good battery life. Even though there are limited data fields on the Pixel Watch 3, the fact that Google creates running workouts personalized for me and makes it very easy to create custom workouts either on a phone or on the watch itself means that I'm more likely to use the Pixel Watch 3 for running. There are definitely limits compared to something like a Garmin watch that has it almost unlimited amount of data fields. I can get by with just the Pixel Watch 3 for most of my running needs. But I do still plan to run with both because I'm a data hound and I love those kind of things. So let's talk a little bit about some of the pros and cons of this watch. Obviously, it's a lovely, elegant fit, finish, and design on the Pixel Watch 3. And as I've said a couple of times, that larger form factor is now available and it fits perfectly for somebody with my wrist size. Does have a focus on running, and that's a sport that I enjoy doing, an activity I enjoy doing, so I'm really thrilled to see there's lots of running support and advanced running support. There are some stunning watch faces available just in the Pixel Watch app itself, and a lot of complications that serve you well when you're just doing a glance at your watch. That voice recorder I mentioned is very useful, and that extensive Google Nest support is awesome to have if you have Google Nest cameras around your house. Now, not everything is perfect, right? There's a few things that I don't like about it. There are limited data fields for running, so it is a bit limited in that respect. There is no support for external sensors, so I can't connect my chest or arm band. The LTE model is a bit pricey, and it's still missing some apps available for the Apple Watch, but when I do a side-by-side comparison, most of those apps are nice to have and not essential. All the essential apps are available on the Pixel Watch 3. Let's talk a little bit about the pricing and colors. So the 45mm Pixel Watch 3 is available in matte black aluminum with an obsidian band, polished silver aluminum with a porcelain band, and matte hazel aluminum with a hazel band. As you can see in my video, I tested the polished silver model with a porcelain band, and I think that looks great. In the past, I've always reviewed black watches, and I wanted something a little bit different, and I really like the look of that polished silver with that porcelain band. The Wi-Fi model is available now for $399.99, with the LTE model priced $100 more at $499.99. But just like Samsung and Apple and others, Google also has some trade-in deals, and you can save quite a bit of money if you trade in another smartwatch or a watch for the Pixel Watch 3. Another new feature that is not yet widely available, and that I did get to see and talk to a doctor down there at the Made by Google event, is the loss of pulse detection capability. So a few years ago, my dad passed away due to cardiac arrest. When the first person that discovered him in his recliner didn't find him for about 15 minutes after his cardiac arrest. And with that loss of pulse detection, someone would have been notified much sooner, and he may have survived this trauma. It is wonderful to see Google rolling out health features like that loss of pulse detection that will save lives, and I hope to see this launched in the US soon. I will likely still wear a Garmin watch on one wrist and a Pixel Watch 3 on the other. I mean, I'm wearing multiple watches usually right now, but I am motivated to move to a Pixel 9 Pro phone because I want to use the Pixel Watch 3 more. I sometimes think I'm a more competitive runner than I actually am, and the limited data fields at first really bothered me, but when I look down at the watch, those are the fields I care about, so I don't really think that I need to worry about all of the data fields. There are some other things, such as using it with the Ingo 2 heads-up display glasses and such, that I will miss, and the lack of external sensor support may be a concern. But for recreational runners and for the masses, especially when you look at all the other benefits of the Pixel Watch 3, it is a great watch for most people. Thanks to Google for the opportunity to test out the Pixel Watch 3. I really enjoyed the experience. I plan to use it much more and see how my cardio load and my sleep animal changes over time. If you have any questions about the Pixel Watch 3 or any of my experiences, leave a comment below and I'll talk to you about it. Thanks for watching, everybody. Please subscribe and share. Interact with me here and stay tuned for more coverage of various types of wearable technology, mobile technology, e-bikes, fitness and health gear, and more. May the mobile force be with you.